That Akai Firmware 3.6 is out, y'all. I don't know, man. I think we got a problem to talk about. Yo, what's good, fam? So it's your man, Mr. Faia, and I'm actually going to be doing a video having a discussion about importing MIDI into Ableton Live. I actually did a video already a few months back. It was how to dump audio stems and MIDI from Akai MPC standalone into Ableton Live. But there was a question that popped up a couple of days ago. This came from Adverve Covers. He said, thanks for the info. I'm trying to export MIDI from an MPC Live 2 to bring into Ableton exactly as you're doing it. I followed your steps and I followed the steps in the manual. And while I get a .mid file, there's no information in it. When I try to pull it into Ableton, it doesn't allow me to, and the file is only about 130 bytes. On the MPC, I've confirmed there's MIDI data on the track. I just can't figure out why none of it is making it to the export. Do you have any thoughts on what I might be missing? So actually, I do have some thoughts, and I actually sent him a response, basically, just letting him know, like asking him, like, what was the firmware that he was running, because I kind of ran into an issue some time back, and but I was not running into the issue when I was running version 3.4.1. So since 3.4.1, and going forward, I haven't ran into that issue, so that's going to be my first question. But however, I went into 3.5 with no issues, but I just recently updated to version 3.6. So, so with that being said, let's take a look at 3.6, because I haven't done it in 3.6. Let's see if we run into any issues and just kind of go from there, okay? So let's go over to the MPC. All right, so let's see. As you can see, I'm running version 3.6 firmware on here. Okay, I got a track loaded up in here. Okay, and actually, this is a track that I did, released last year on my album Eclectic Soul, and it's called I Just Can't. But let's go ahead and switch over to, well, actually, so I got the MPC. And on Ableton, I also have that track loaded up here as well. Okay. So I got that track loaded up in here as well. But what we're going to do is just kind of, experiment with, let me get rid of this one real quick here. And let's get rid of this one here with this one too. Okay. That's not necessary. All right, so bottom line is, what we're going to do is, on the MPC, I got a thumb drive. I'm going to go ahead and stick this thumb drive in here. Okay. And we're going to go to, let's see here. We're going to go to this track here, because this track happens to have, it's got MIDI, got some MIDI chord information in there, performance in there. All right. So that's the MIDI chords whirly, right? All right. So I'm going to go to menu. I'm going to go to save. I'm going to go track as MIDI pattern. I'm going to export that to my 8 gig USB. It names it automatically because it's going to name it based off of the track name, right? And while I'm at it, let's go ahead and let's see here. What do I have in here? Yeah. Okay, so it's pretty much the same MIDI information that's in that one too, because I actually duplicated the performance but assigned it to another sound, just to layer it. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with that one. Let's go ahead and save. track as MIDI pattern. Okay. And we'll go ahead and save that. And it just says plugin 1 because the track is not actually named. As you can see, it's just going based off of the track name. Now, one of the things, if you notice on the when we go to that save, see, this is a plugin right now, right? So this is one of the internal plugins on the MPC Live. So when you go to save, see right here where it says MIDI pattern, but you got this extra option here, track as audio, right? So you can actually export the track as audio, okay? But on track 4 with the MIDI whirly chords, it does not have that because this was actually sent out to a hardware synth. So all it is just MIDI information. There's no audio. So when you go into menu and save, now notice you don't have that, as audio. You only have the track as MIDI pattern. That's it, right? All right, cool. So we got that on there. Now let's go ahead and eject the 8 gig drive, thumb drive. Okay. See, it's both of those files are in there. We're going to go ahead and eject it. All right, let's pull that out. And we're going to go ahead and switch over to Ableton. Let me plug in my thumb drive. Give me a second here. All right. So I got the thumb drive, and actually, okay, let's go to Finder. There it is, thumb drive. There is the files right there, right? Okay, so the files are right there. And what I'm going to do is switch us over into Ableton so you can see what's going on there. And I'm going to drag those files. All right, so let's start with the MIDI chords whirly. Okay. Okay. Now the plugin 001. Okay, so the MIDI data came in there. However, here's what I'm seeing as an issue. So this is supposed to be the MIDI chords whirly, but it actually dumped the information from the plugin 001, and then the plugin 001 file came in as snare 1. All right, so that's an issue, okay, because it's not bringing over the correct files. All right, so let's go back over to the MPC and take a look real quick. Let's look at the MPC. All right, so on the MPC, all right, so the whirly chords actually pulled over from track 5, and then the dump from track 5 pulled over from where? Where did it pull it from? That's an audio. That's a snare. What was it, snare 1? Yeah, it was from snare 1. It was labeled snare 1. So if we look at snare 1, which is right here, yeah, so that's the MIDI information we got from there. Okay, so what it did is when we tried to do a dump from plugin 001, it actually dumped the next MIDI track up, which was snare 1. When we dumped the MIDI chords whirly, it actually dumped the next MIDI track up, which is plugin 01. So what we just discovered really is that we got a bug in this 3.6 Gen 1 firmware. And when I say Gen 1, because, the 3.6 comes, for Gen 1 and Gen 2. The Gen 2 Apparently it's going to be for, like the new MPC Live 3, the MPC Live 3. But this is something that, that is definitely we need to take into consideration when we're doing our exports. And yeah, that's going to be an issue. And yeah, what we just discovered right now is that there is a bug in the 3.6 software. All right, so I hope this is helpful. I hope that that this is something that Akai is working on, and that they'll go ahead and rectify it soon. But in the meanwhile, just take that into consideration while you're exporting and you're working on you're going through your workflow. All right. So I hope this is helpful. Y'all have a good one. Until next time, and hey, I'm looking forward to throwing out some more. If you got some ideas, or some things that you would like me to, to cover on the MPC Live, hell, even on Ableton, because I work very closely between the two of them. I always start out on the MPC Live and then just kind of bring everything over into Ableton to flesh it out a little bit more. That's how I operate. Yeah, just give me some ideas, drop some comments, like and subscribe. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to do a lot more, once I finish getting healed up from this wrist surgery. All right.